The first night I entered the streets, I didn't know the man who picked me was my own father, and the woman who pushed me there was my mother. My name is Halima Danladi. I grew up in Kano City, in a tiny wooden room behind the Sabongari market, a room full of noise, poverty, and secrets that smelled like kerosene. All my life, I asked my mother the same question: Mama, where is my father? And every time my mother, Mama Rabi, a woman with loud lipstick and louder anger, would spit on the ground and say, "Forget that useless man. He died before you were born." I believed her. I had no other truth to hold on to. I thought it was just the two of us, surviving, struggling, fighting life together. I was wrong. Horribly wrong. Mama never worked a normal job. Not in a shop, not in a school, not anywhere respectable. Her job happened at night, in dark corners, behind loud bars, inside strange men's cars. From age 10, I knew the meaning of whispers behind thin walls. I knew the smell of beer on a man's sweat-soaked shirt. I knew the sound of a belt loosening, not to beat a child, but to buy a woman's silence. Sometimes Mama chased me outside. Sometimes I slept beside dustbins. Sometimes she said, "If you make noise, they'll beat you. Keep quiet." So I learned. Silence is survival. At 19, I finished secondary school. I thought life would pity me small. Maybe school. Maybe apprenticeship. Maybe anything better than suffering. But one evening, while I was roasting plantain at the junction, Mama called me inside. She crossed her legs, looked at me from head to toe, and said the sentence that destroyed my future. "Halima, you are old enough now. It's time you follow me to the road." I froze. "Mama, me? You? You want me to stand at night for men?" She hissed. "Is beauty only for Instagram? Your mates are feeding their families. If you don't bring money today, I'll show you hell." I cried. She didn't blink. That night, she dragged me to Sabangari roundabout, where neon lights beat like heartbeats and loud bars blasted music that felt like danger. She pushed me to a corner and said, "Stay here. Smile small. If you come home empty-handed, don't sleep in my house." My legs trembled. My lips shook. I prayed one prayer: "God, please don't let anybody who knows me pass here tonight." Then it happened. A black Jeep, shining like evil, slowed down. All the women rushed to the window. The man ignored them. His eyes stopped only on me. He wound down the glass. His voice was calm. Too calm. "You? Come." I tried to pretend I didn't hear, but Mama shouted from behind, "Halima, go! Are you mad?" So I obeyed. I entered the Jeep. My heart was louder than the engine. He asked for my price. I whispered it. He smiled and said, "I'll pay triple." "Triple? For what? For who? Why me?" His hand brushed my knee lightly. My stomach tightened in fear. I wanted to jump out, but he said, "Relax. Your face reminds me of someone I lost." I swallowed hard. My throat dried. I kept silent. He drove to a small, quiet lodge at Zaria Road. Too quiet, too clean, too intentional. Inside the room, he locked the door softly. Not roughly, not violently, softly. That softness scared me more. He opened his wallet. A picture fell out. A young woman. Beautiful, smiling, wearing the same gold anklet Mama never removed. I gasped. He looked at me sharply. "Why did you react? Do you know her?" My mouth couldn't open. My knees weakened. He stepped closer. His voice broke. "This woman, she is the only woman I ever loved. She ran away pregnant 19 years ago." My heart stopped beating. My vision blurred. My voice cracked. "Sir, what did you say?" He stared into my eyes, eyes that looked exactly like his, and whispered, "Something about you feels like blood." Halima stands in a hotel room with a man who paid triple, with a man who loved her mother, with a man whose lost child is exactly her age, with a man who is starting to recognize her face, piece by terrifying piece. Is he really her father? Did Mama lie? Is she safe? Will she escape? What happens if Mama appears? What will he do when he discovers the truth? The room felt too still, too cold, too watchful. The man, this stranger who paid triple, kept staring at me the way someone stares at a ghost they never expected to see again. My hands shook as I pulled them behind me. My back hit the edge of the wall. Inside my head, one sentence kept ringing. This might be my father, and I am standing in front of him as a commodity. He stepped closer, slowly, as if he didn't want to scare me. "Tell me your name," he said. I swallowed hard. My tongue felt heavy. "Halima," I whispered. His eyes widened, not in fear, not in anger, in recognition. "Halima?" He repeated it like a man testing a memory he had buried so deep it turned into dust. That was the name I chose, if my child was a girl. My breath stilled. My knees nearly gave way. I wanted to speak, to confess, to scream, "I think I'm your daughter." But fear glued my lips, because what if I was wrong? What if this was just coincidence? What if Mama lied to him the same way she lied to me? And worst, what if he reacted violently? I didn't know who this man truly was. Only that something in his eyes was breaking apart as he looked at me. He moved closer. Close enough for the scent of his cologne, expensive and authoritative, to wrap around me. Halima, he repeated softly. His voice trembled. Name? My heart banged against my ribs. I opened my mouth to answer, but the truth got stuck in my throat like a bone. Instead, I whispered, I I don't talk about her. He didn't push. He didn't shout. He didn't force me. He just sat on the edge of the bed, defeated, staring at the picture in his hand. Then he said something that shattered me. Life punished me, Halima. I lost the only woman I ever loved, and my only child disappeared before I ever saw them. His voice cracked. He covered his face, a grown man, crying, in front of a girl he thought was just another night. Something inside me softened and stiffened. At the same time, I wanted to hug him. I wanted to run. But before my mind could choose, his phone rang. He wiped his face and answered. His tone changed immediately. Cold, sharp, businesslike. Yes? Bring her to the station. Nobody releases a minor to a brothel. I'll handle the case myself. My heart froze. Minor? Station? Case? Was he talking about me? My palms went cold. I scanned the room, the door, the window, the exits. My mind raced faster than my breathing. When he hung up, he turned to me. Halima, he said gently, I don't want to hurt you, but I cannot take advantage of a girl the same age as the child I lost. Tell me where you live. Tell me who brought you here. Mama, he wanted information about Mama. I shook my head quickly. Too quickly. Suspicion crossed his face. Halima, did someone force you into this? I turned away. My silence shouted the truth. He stood up, walked toward me, slowly. Look at me. I didn't. Halima, look at me. I lifted my eyes. His lips parted as if he had seen a ghost wearing my skin. My God, he whispered. You have her eyes. My throat dried. Whose eyes? I forced out. He touched the picture gently. My lover, your mother? If she is who I think she is. My legs weakened. He didn't know. He was guessing, suspecting, piecing the truth together one terrifying fragment at a time. Just tell me her name, he pleaded. If I hear it, I'll know. My chest rose and fell rapidly. Sweat gathered in my palms. If I told him, everything would explode. If I kept quiet, the truth would still find its way. Before I could answer, a loud knock hit the door. 3 knocks, fast, urgent. He went still. I froze. Then a familiar voice roared from the corridor. Open this door! Open it now, Halima! Mama. Mama Robbie. She had followed us. She had tracked me, and she was furious. The man's eyes darkened. Not with anger at me, but with recognition. That voice, that tone, that name. He whispered almost to himself, No, it can't be her. The knocking grew louder, more violent. Halima, if you don't open this door, I will break it! My heart dropped to my feet. The man walked to the door. His hand hovered over the handle. His voice sank into a dangerous calm. If that is who I think it is, tonight will not end well. 2 truths were about to collide. 2 broken hearts were about to meet again. 2 decades of lies were about to explode in one small room. I stood there trembling, caught between a man who might be my father and a woman who raised me with silence and secrets. And all I could think was, this is the night everything shatters. The knocking grew louder. Boom, boom, boom. The wooden door shook so hard that dust sprinkled from the frame. Mama Robbie's voice tore through the silence like a cutlass. Halima, open this door before I scatter this building. My legs were jelly. My chest moved like a drum. The man, this stranger who might be my father, stood frozen by the door, staring at it like a nightmare he had tried to forget. A broken whisper escaped his lips. Robbie, it sounds like her. He ran a hand over his face. Confusion, anger, regret, fear, all of it fought inside his eyes. He turned to me. Halima, tell me the truth. His voice was tight. Is your mother's name Robbie? My mouth opened, but the door exploded inward. Mama Robbie kicked it so hard the lock broke in one violent snap. She stumbled in, sweating, breathing fast, eyes blazing like fire. Her gaze landed on me first. Halima, you left me on the road, You think you can disgrace me? Then her eyes shot to the man, and just like that, her entire body froze. The world stopped breathing. He stared back at her, stunned. Robbie, he whispered. She staggered backward until her back hit the wall. Her lipstick shook. Her hands trembled. It was the first time in my life I saw fear in her eyes. Real fear. You, she said faintly. You are still alive? The man's jaw clenched. You ran away, Robbie. He took a step forward. You took my child and disappeared. Mama Robbie swallowed hard. Her eyes darted toward me like a guilty child caught stealing. I didn't disappear, she stammered. I had reasons. You lied that I died, he snapped. She flinched. I stood there confused, trembling, watching my past, my present, my blood, my trauma collide like crashing cars. He turned to me. Halima, he said softly, this is your mother, but I need to hear it from her. His eyes locked on Mama Robbie. Is she my daughter? The question punched the room into silence. Mama Robbie's lips quivered. She looked at him, then at me, then at the floor. Her voice dropped, barely audible. Yes. My heart exploded. The world tilted sideways. My breath vanished. He staggered backward as if someone slapped him. His eyes filled instantly with tears, the kind a man hides until they choke him. I had a daughter, he whispered, for 19 years, and she was suffering like this. Mama Robbie rushed forward. It's not my fault, she screamed. Life dealt with me. I had nothing. I tried. He raised a hand, not to slap her, but to silence her. He didn't shout. He didn't curse. He just said, you sold her. Mama Robbie froze. You pushed her into the same darkness you survived, he continued. You didn't protect her. You punished her. Tears streamed down Mama Robbie's face. I didn't sell her. Her voice cracked. I only wanted help. I only wanted her to bring money. That is worse, he said. My chest tightened painfully. My throat burned. He stepped towards me slowly, carefully, like a person approaching a sacred wound. Halima, he wiped his face with the back of his hand. I don't know how to ask this gently. He inhaled shakily. Do you want to leave with me? The room went still. Mama Robbie's scream tore out immediately. Halima, you are not going anywhere. But something deeper inside me whispered, this is your chance. Not a perfect chance, not a beautiful chance, not a painless chance, but a chance to breathe, to stop being afraid, to stop being used. I looked at him, then at her, then at the broken door. And I said the words that changed everything. I want to go. Mama Robbie shook her head violently. No, you can't leave me. Halima, I'm your mother. Everything I did it for us. Her voice cracked into pieces, but her excuses were ashes now. The man, my father, moved in front of me protectively. You lost the right to decide for her, he said coldly. Tears streamed down Mama Robbie's cheeks. She reached out to me. Halima, please, you're all I have. Those words hit me like stones, because despite everything, despite the fear, despite the nights beside dustbins, despite her anger, despite her darkness, she was the only family I had ever known. But she was also the reason I stood in that room in the first place. My voice trembled. Mama, you never protected me. She closed her eyes. Her whole body sagged. Life didn't protect me either, she whispered. For the first time ever, her voice wasn't loud or angry. It was small, weak, tired. She sank to her knees. I failed you, Halima, she cried. I failed you. But don't leave me. Please. My heart twisted painfully. I wanted to hug her. I wanted to run to her. I wanted to forget everything. But my father placed a hand on my shoulder. Halima, he said softly, you don't have to choose between compassion and survival. You can care for her from a distance, but you cannot heal inside the same place that broke you. I wiped my tears. I walked to Mama Robbie. She looked up, eyes full of desperation. I knelt beside her, held her hands. She shook with sobs. Mama, I whispered, I forgive you, but I need to live. She covered her face and cried harder, not the angry screams I grew up with, not the threatening kind, real tears, the kind that come when a mother finally sees her damage. I stood up. My father opened the broken door wider, as if welcoming me into a different life. The hallway outside felt cold, but safe. Mama Robbie called my name one last time. Her voice cracked. Halima, don't forget me. I turned. I won't, I whispered, but I must save myself now. I walked out, into the corridor, into the sharp night air, into a world without the chains I was born into. My father walked beside me silently, not touching me, not crowding me, just walking. At the exit, he opened the Jeep door and said, You're safe now. For the first time in 19 years, I believed those words. As we drove away, the neon lights of Sabongari faded behind us. The road ahead looked long, uncertain, broken, beautiful. But it was mine, and I wasn't running anymore. I was leaving. I was choosing myself. I was finally free. Halima's life did not change in a palace. It didn't change in a church. It didn't change in a classroom. It changed in the darkest moment, inside a cheap lodge between two broken adults and one frightened girl who had suffered more than her age could carry. Isn't it strange how God sometimes rewrites a person's destiny in the very place where their pain began? Halima stepped into that jeep as a victim. She walked out of it as a daughter. Not because she was perfect, not because she was powerful, but because God had decided, your suffering ends tonight. And now, when she tells her story, she says, the night I feared the most became the night God remembered me. Because that's who God is. He finds people in places they were never supposed to be. He enters rooms built from shame and turns them into grounds of deliverance. He pulls daughters out of cycles their mothers could not escape. He exposes lies to reveal truth. He reunites what life tore apart. He shows a girl who was treated like a commodity that she was always royalty in his eyes. And you, yes, you reading this. Have you ever wondered why your story looks messy? Why your life seems to go in circles? Why the people you trusted cracked your heart like glass? Have you ever asked yourself, is there still hope for me? Can God rewrite a story as damaged as mine? Can anything good come out of a past like this? Look at Halima. Look at where she came from. Look at where she walked out from. Look at the life she stepped into. Does she look like someone the world expected to rise? But God, ah, but God specializes in lifting people the world has already counted out. Family can fail you, but God will never abandon you. The darkness you were born into does not decide the light you will walk into. Forgiveness doesn't always mean going back. Sometimes it means walking away in peace. Not every parent knows how to love, but God can send someone who will. You are not defined by your trauma. You are defined by your healing. Your story can start in shame and still end in glory. Life tried to destroy Halima before she understood who she was. Life tried to bury her voice, her value, her future. But God stepped in. And when God steps in, he does not knock. He does not ask permission. He does not wait for the situation to be convenient. He shakes the door. He shatters the lies. He removes the wrong people. He exposes secrets. He restores identity. He begins healing where pain once ruled. He did it for Halima. He can do it for you. After all, who else can turn a night of fear into the beginning of freedom? Who else can use the same people who broke you to reveal the ones who will rebuild you? Who else can take a destiny thrown in the gutter and lift it into a home of love? Only God. So the conclusion of Halima's story is simple. She entered the night as a victim of life. She walked out as a testimony of grace. And you? Maybe your own night of change is closer than you think.